The sky above Earth was burning. Great fireballs lit the night as alien weapons cut through the atmosphere. Cities shook, buildings fell, and people ran for shelter. For months, humanity had been fighting a losing war, and now it seemed the end was near. In orbit, Earth's last fleet struggled against the alien invaders. Warships launched missile after missile, laser after laser, but the enemy was too many. The aliens moved with terrifying speed, their ships sleek and sharp like blades. In the dark, inside Earth's command ship Guardian 1, the crew worked without rest. Alarms screamed, red lights flashed across the control room, and officers shouted reports. "Enemy fleet is pushing through Sector 9. One voice cried. "We've lost the Europe defense line," another reported. "Our ground forces in Asia are requesting emergency support." Captain Elena Torres, leader of Guardian 1, stood in the center of the chaos. Her uniform was torn, her eyes tired, but her voice was steady. "Hold the line," she ordered. "If Earth falls here, humanity falls forever." But inside, she knew the truth. The fleets were outnumbered. The aliens had technology far beyond human understanding. Every day, more ships were destroyed. Every hour, millions more civilians died. Hope was fading. Down on Earth, people huddled in bunkers, watching. The skies on trembling screens. Families whispered prayers. Soldiers carried rifles, knowing they would likely never return. Children asked questions their parents could not answer. Why are they here? Why do they hate us? Will anyone save us? No one had answers. Above, the battle grew worse. Alien cruisers broke through the last defense line and began bombarding Earth's surface. Guardian 1 shook as explosions lit up the void. The ship's shields cracked and alarms howled. "Captain, we cannot hold much longer," shouted Commander Malik, her second in command. Elena clenched her fists. She refused to give up. Yet, she had no miracle to offer. And then, it happened. A signal. On the radar screen, deep in the black void beyond the battlefield, something appeared. At first it looked like static, just noise in the sensors. But then the static grew clearer, forming a shape. A massive object shimmered, flickering in and out of sight. The crew fell silent. "What is that?" Malik whispered. The shape became larger, more solid. The space around it rippled like water disturbed by a stone. And then, suddenly, it emerged. A ship. It was enormous, far bigger than any human or alien ship in the battle. Its surface was dark as night, covered in strange glowing lines that pulsed like veins of light. Its edges were sharp and jagged, yet somehow graceful, like the wings of some forgotten creature. The ship did not move. It simply floated, silent and still, as if it had been hiding in the shadows of space, waiting for this moment. On Guardian 1, the crew stared in shock. "It's not in our database," said the science officer, her voice trembling. "Not human, not alien, unknown." The command room grew colder. If this was a new enemy, Earth had no chance left. Elena Torres felt her heart pound. She turned to her crew. "Do not fire, repeat, do not fire, we wait." Seconds stretched into minutes. Outside, the battle raged on. Alien ships swarmed like locusts, hammering Earth's defenses. Human forces screamed for help. But still, the unknown ship did nothing. "Why is it just watching us?" Malik asked. "Maybe it's deciding who to kill first," another muttered. Fear spread through the room like fire. Was this the end? Would this ship finish what the aliens had started? And then, the silence broke. The unknown ship powered up. Its surface lit up with blinding blue light, glowing symbols racing across its hull. Energy gathered at its core, building, rising, until the void itself seemed to hum with power. The crew on Guardian 1 held their breath. Some whispered prayers. Others stared, frozen in terror, and then the ship fired. A beam of light burst forth, so powerful, so bright it cut across space like a sword. Everyone braced for impact, expecting Guardian 1 to be destroyed in an instant. But the beam did not strike Earth's fleet. It struck the aliens. 3 enemy cruisers vanished in explosions of fire, torn apart as if they were paper. Alien formations broke instantly, ships scattering in panic. On Guardian 1, the crew gasped. It's attacking the aliens. It's helping us. Elena Torres did not move. Her eyes stayed locked on the mysterious ship. Or it's killing our enemies first, she said coldly, and we are next. Outside, the battlefield shifted. Humanity's darkest hour had just changed. A new player had entered the war, but no one knew if it was a savior or something far worse. The battlefield hung in silence for a moment, broken only by the echo of explosions. The unknown ship floated like a giant shadow in space, its glowing lines still pulsing with energy. Around it, fragments of alien cruisers drifted burning wrecks where once there had been power and terror. On Guardian 1, every eye was fixed on the screen. Confirm target data, Captain Elena Torres ordered. Her voice was steady, but her heart raced. Confirmed, Captain, replied the tactical officer. That beam destroyed 3 alien cruisers in one strike. The unknown ship. It saved us. The crew exchanged nervous looks. Saved them or simply delayed their death? The aliens did not retreat. They regrouped quickly, pulling back into formation. But they no longer ignored the new arrival. Scanners showed dozens of alien vessels moving to encircle the mysterious ship. They see it as a threat, Commander Malik said grimly. They're preparing to attack it directly. Elena leaned forward. She studied the ship's design on the screen. It was unlike anything she had seen before. Massive, silent, and covered in glowing patterns that seemed to shift, as if alive. Is there any record of this vessel in our archives? She asked. The science officer shook her head. No match. Not human, not any known alien design. It's completely unique. A whisper ran through the command room. Then who are they? What do they want? Why now? Before answers could come, the aliens struck. A swarm of alien destroyers fired volley after volley at the unknown ship. Green plasma beams cut through the void, striking its hull again and again. The entire battlefield lit up with fire. The crew, on Guardian 1, braced for the explosion. But none came. Instead, the mysterious ship's surface shimmered with light, absorbing the enemy's weapons like rain against stone. A second later, the glowing lines across its hull blazed brighter, and a wave of energy rippled outward. The nearest alien destroyer shattered instantly. Their ships cracked open, fire pouring out into the void. In seconds, dozens were gone. The crew gasped. The ship had not just resisted the attack, it had turned it into a counterstrike. What kind of technology is that? Malik whispered. Impossible technology, the science officer replied softly. No human, no alien we know could build this. But even as the crew stared in awe, Elena remained cautious. No one fires at that ship without my order, she said. We do not know its true intentions. Meanwhile, across the battlefield, Earth's soldiers watched in stunned silence. Pilots and battered starfighters saw the giant vessel cut down alien ships with ease. Soldiers on the ground looked up through burning skies, seeing strange flashes of light in orbit. Hope flickered where only despair had lived before, but in the minds of many, questions grew darker. If this ship was so powerful, why had it waited until now? Why had it appeared in Earth's darkest hour, only when the war was almost lost? Inside Guardian 1, a sudden alarm broke the silence. Captain, we are receiving a transmission. It's coming from the unknown ship. The room froze. Put it on, Elena ordered. The speakers crackled. Static filled the air. Then a voice, distorted, deep and mechanical, spoke in simple English. We are not your enemy. Gasps filled the room. The crew leaned closer, waiting for more. But the message ended as quickly as it began. That's it? Malik said. That's all? Yes, the communications officer confirmed. Just one line repeated once, then silence. The crew whispered nervously. They speak our language? Then they know who we are. Why only one sentence? Elena stared at the dark shape of the ship on the screen. A cold shiver ran down her spine. Whoever controlled that vessel had made a choice, to reveal themselves, to speak, and to fight alongside humanity. But why only now? Before she could think further, The unknown ship moved. It accelerated with incredible speed, sliding through alien formations as if it knew exactly where to strike. Human ships tried to follow, but its maneuvers were too precise, too perfect. It moved like a predator that had studied its prey for years. Everywhere it passed, alien ships burned. "Captain," the tactical officer said in shock, "it's flying in sync with our fleet. It's almost like it knows our strategies." Elena narrowed her eyes. That was impossible. Unless they had been watching for a long time. Outside, the battle raged on. Humanity fought harder now, pushing back with renewed hope. The mysterious ship tore through alien ranks, cutting a path straight toward the enemy's flagship. The crew of Guardian 1 could hardly believe what they were witnessing. For the first time in months, the aliens were retreating. And yet, in the back of every human mind, one thought remained. This ship was not ours. It was not alien. It was something else. And if it could save them, it could also destroy them. The battlefield had changed. Where only fire and despair had ruled, now there was silence mixed with shock. The unknown ship moved across space like a shadow of judgment, tearing alien fleets apart with strikes no human could understand. But even as humanity cheered, doubt spread like smoke in the back of their minds. Inside Guardian 1, Captain Elena Torres stood rigid at the command deck. The message from the ship repeated in her head. "We are not your enemy. It was a promise or a warning." "Status of the enemy fleet?" she asked sharply. "Alien losses are heavy," reported the tactical officer. "They're regrouping, pulling back toward their flagship." "And the unknown ship?" The officer hesitated, staring at the readings. "It's following them, Captain, directly into the heart of their fleet." The crew exchanged uneasy looks. This was no random act. The ship was moving with purpose. The dance of war out in the void, alien vessels swarmed like wasps. Hundreds of them closed in on the unknown ship, firing beams of energy, missiles, plasma torpedoes, everything they had. The mysterious vessel did not retreat. It charged forward. A shield of glowing light expanded around its hull, bending enemy fire harmlessly away. Then, with movements both elegant and terrifying, it struck back. A single burst of energy split an alien battleship in half. Another wave ripped through their formations, sending burning wreckage tumbling toward Earth's atmosphere. From Guardian 1's view screens, it looked less like combat and more like a dance. The unknown ship flowed between enemies, cutting them down as if it had fought them before, as if it knew every weakness in their armor. "Captain," whispered Commander Malik, "it's not fighting with us. It's leading us." Elena's eyes narrowed. He was right. The unknown ship wasn't just helping. It was commanding the battlefield. Humanity follows pilots in battered starfighters watched the massive vessel carve through the enemy. Instinctively, they followed its path. Earth's warships shifted, aligning their firepower to cover the ship's flanks. Without a word, the humans began to move in its shadow, matching its rhythm. The result was stunning. Alien formations began to break under the combined assault. For the first time in the war, humanity wasn't running. It was pushing forward. On the ground below, soldiers saw fireballs streak across the sky. Alien dropships that had once landed unchallenged were now being destroyed before reaching the surface. Civilians in bunkers felt the tremors and wondered if it meant salvation, or only a new terror arriving. The alien flagship. Then the unknown ship made its boldest move. It accelerated, cutting directly toward the alien flagship, the massive vessel that had commanded the invasion since the first day of war. On Guardian 1, alarms rang out. "Captain, if it attacks the flagship, the aliens will unleash everything they've got." "They already are," Elena replied quietly. All screens locked onto the flagship. The alien vessel was a monster, 10 times the size of a human carrier, covered in spiked towers and glowing weapons. Its presence alone had always been enough to crush hope. Now, for the first time, it looked uncertain. Alien ships clustered tightly around it, desperate to shield it from the advancing giant. The mysterious ship did not hesitate. It unleashed a storm. Dozens of beams erupted at once, cutting through the alien guard like fire through dry leaves. Explosions rippled across the dark sky as entire wings of enemy ships vanished. The flagship trembled under the force, its shields glowing red with strain. "Impossible," muttered the science officer. "No ship should carry that much power." Not alone. A message in fire suddenly. Guardian 1's comms sparked again. A second transmission came through, short, simple, and chilling. "Follow." The crew froze. The word echoed across the room. "Follow where?" Malik asked, his voice sharp. "To victory," said one officer. "To our deaths," whispered another. But Elena Torres understood. The unknown ship wanted humanity. To press forward, to fight alongside it. She looked around the command deck, meeting the fearful eyes of her crew. Then she gave the order. "Signal the fleet. All units. Follow the unknown ship." Humanity strikes back. The order spread like wildfire. Damaged cruisers, weary fighters, and broken carriers turned their guns on the alien flagship. For the first time, Earth's fleet charged. The battle became chaos. Explosions lit the void in every direction. Alien warships fought desperately, but the humans were no longer afraid. They had a leader now, even if it was not human. The unknown ship struck the flagship again, tearing open a massive wound in its side. Earth's vessels poured fire into the gap, missiles and torpedoes hammering the exposed core. For the first time since the war began, the alien flagship reeled in retreat. On Guardian 1, cheers broke out across the command deck. Officers hugged each other, pilots shouted with joy, soldiers cried out in relief. Hope, long dead, was alive again. But Elena did not cheer. She stared at the dark giant leading the charge, its glowing hull shining like a star in the void. "Why now?" she whispered to herself. "Why us?" The final strike of the day, as if answering her question. The unknown ship fired one last devastating beam. The alien flagship staggered, shields shattered, towers collapsing. It limped away, engines burning, fleeing deeper into space. The remaining alien forces broke. Some followed their flagship into retreat, others scattered, fleeing the battlefield entirely. Humanity had survived another day. But the mysterious ship did not chase the retreating enemy. Instead, it slowed, drifting back toward Earth's orbit. Its lights dimmed slightly as if conserving power. On Guardian 1, silence returned. No one spoke. The crew only watched, waiting for what would come next. Would the ship speak again? Would it stay? Or would it turn its terrible weapons against the very people it had just saved? No one knew. And that was the most terrifying part. The battlefield was quiet now, but it was not peace. Fragments of alien ships drifted across the black sky, glowing like broken stars. Human cruisers limped back into formation, their hulls scarred, their crews exhausted, and in the middle of it all the unknown ship floated in silence. Its lights pulsed faintly, as if the giant had slowed its heartbeat. It neither attacked nor retreated. It simply stayed. Watching. Waiting. On Guardian 1, Captain Elena Torres stood with her hands clasped behind her back, her eyes never leaving the screen. "Status of our fleet?" she asked. 70% losses, Captain," Malik answered quietly. "We have ships still operational, but barely. Many fighters are gone. Ground forces are holding what's left of the cities." Elena nodded. Humanity had survived the day, but only because of the stranger. And then the voice returned. The speakers crackled. The same deep, distorted tone echoed through the command deck. "We are not your enemy." But this time the message did not end there. "Stand with us." Gasps filled the room. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Some looked hopeful, others fearful. Malik leaned close to Elena. "Captain, this could be a trap. They could be luring us into dependence, making us trust them before they strike." Elena didn't answer. Her eyes were fixed on the mysterious ship. Whatever it was, it had chosen its moment with precision. First it showed strength. Now it asked for trust, the test of fire. The choice was taken from them. Alarm screamed across the command deck. "Captain, new contacts on sensors, alien reinforcements incoming." The crew froze as dozens of fresh enemy ships dropped out of hyperspace. The retreat had only been temporary. The aliens were back, and this time stronger than before. On the screen, the mysterious ship moved instantly. Its lights brightened, glowing like fire. Engines flared and it accelerated toward the enemy. Without waiting, Earth's surviving fleet began to follow. For the first time, they didn't question. They moved with the stranger, fighting as one. The battle began again, fiercer than before. Alien ships swarmed, unleashing volleys of plasma and fire. Human vessels, broken but unyielding, fired alongside the unknown ship. The giant vessel cut through the enemy lines with impossible speed, but now, human cruisers covered its flanks. When alien fighters tried to swarm it, human pilots intercepted them. When missiles flew toward Earth's ships, the stranger shifted its shields to absorb the blow. It was no longer fighting alone. They were fighting as one. Soldiers on Earth saw it too. From burning cities, they looked to the skies and saw flashes of human and unknown firepower weaving together. Hope spread like wildfire. For the first time, the war looked like a partnership, not a desperate retreat. Fear and faith, but trust did not come easily. Inside Guardian 1, the crew's voices clashed. "This is it, we fight together," cried one officer. "No," another muttered. "We don't know who they are. What if they turn against us after this battle?" Elena raised her hand for silence. "We have no choice," she said firmly. "If we fight apart, we die. If we fight together, we may live. For now, they are our ally. That is enough." The crew fell silent, their fear turning to resolve. Orders were given and Guardian 1 pushed forward into the firestorm, side by side with the stranger. A dangerous signal. The aliens, frustrated by their losses, shifted tactics. Their command carrier, hidden behind the battle lines, prepared a massive weapon. Energy built across its core, glowing brighter and brighter, aimed not at the unknown ship, but at Earth itself. On Guardian 1, alarms blared. "They're going to strike the planet," shouted the tactical officer. If the weapon fired, millions on Earth would die instantly. The mysterious ship moved faster than human eyes could track. The choice, the mysterious ship turned. Its engines flared brighter than ever as it positioned itself directly between Earth and the alien carrier. "No," Malik whispered. "It's going to—" Elena's throat went dry. She understood. The ship was preparing to shield Earth with its own body. The alien weapon fired. A colossal beam of energy, brighter than the sun, roared across space. It struck the mysterious vessel head-on. The impact shook the void itself. The ship's shields flared white-hot, holding back the impossible force. Its hull cracked, massive chunks breaking away, drifting into space. Yet still, it held. Inside, Guardian 1. The crew watched in awe and horror. "It's sacrificing itself," as someone whispered. The last stand. The alien fleet swarmed to finish the job, pouring fire into the wounded giant. But the mysterious ship did not retreat. Instead, it advanced. Its weapons roared one last time, cutting through enemy lines even as its body tore apart. It moved with the fury of something ancient, something determined to fulfill its purpose no matter the cost. Human vessels followed, inspired by its final stand. Fighters dove into alien formations, missiles streaking through the black. Cruisers launched every last torpedo they had. The sky burned with fire and death. The final blow. The mysterious ship reached the alien command carrier. Its hull was split open, glowing from within like molten metal. Pieces of it floated away, but its engines pushed forward with unstoppable force. It rammed the alien vessel. The impact was like thunder in the void. A blinding explosion lit the battlefield brighter than any sunrise. The alien carrier split apart, torn to shreds. Shockwaves rippled outward, scattering enemy ships. The remaining alien fleet broke instantly. Leaderless, terrified, they scattered into hyperspace, fleeing Earth's orbit. The war, at least for now, was won. Silence when the light faded. The battlefield was still. Alien wreckage floated across the stars. Earth's broken fleet drifted in silence. But the mysterious ship was gone. Nothing remained but fragments, glowing shards of its hull drifting among the stars. On Guardian 1, the crew stared at the empty space where their savior had stood. Malik's voice cracked. It gave everything out to save us. Elena said nothing. Her throat burned, her chest heavy. She had fought wars her whole life, but never had she seen a sacrifice so absolute. The legacy of the fallen across Earth. People poured into the streets. Civilians, soldiers, survivors. They all looked to the sky, tears in their eyes. They had seen the shield of light that had saved their world. They had witnessed the giant fall so that they might live. No one knew its name. No one knew who had commanded it. But all knew one truth. It had been their protector. And in its sacrifice, it had reminded humanity of something they had almost forgotten. They were not alone. Elena's vow on the bridge of Guardian 1. Elena stood tall, her gaze fixed on the drifting shards of the fallen ship. We owe them everything, she said quietly. Malik nodded, his voice steady despite the grief in his eyes. Then we must honor them. We must fight on, no matter what comes next. Elena clenched her fists. Yes, we will rebuild. We will rise. And when the enemy returns, we will be ready. The crew straightened, their exhaustion fading under the weight of her words. The battle was over. The war was not. But thanks to the sacrifice of the mysterious ship, humanity had a chance. The stars burned bright above Earth, but one light was missing. The light of the giant who had given everything. And in its absence, humanity found its strength once more. The war front was silent at last. Alien ships had fled into the dark, leaving behind wreckage and fire. Earth was scarred, cities broken, fleets shattered. But humanity still stood, and they owed it to one ship. A ship that was no longer there. The mysterious vessel, their savior, had burned itself out in a final act of sacrifice. Its glowing hull was gone, its blazing power extinguished. All that remained were fragments, silent shards drifting in orbit, glowing faintly like dying embers. But its memory lived in every survivor. The search for days after the battle, salvage teams scoured the wreckage. They recovered fragments of alien ships, weapons, and debris. But what everyone truly sought was evidence of the mysterious vessel. On Guardian 1, Captain Elena Torres watched the feeds closely. Teams returned with twisted metal, shards of glowing alloy, even half-broken circuits that hummed with strange energy. Then came the discovery. A wreckage pod was brought aboard, a shattered escape capsule, fused with both alien and human design. Inside lay something extraordinary, not a body, not a weapon, but a data core. The science officer worked for hours to unlock it. Sparks flew, systems overloaded, but finally, the core spoke. It played recordings, voices from the past, the command deck filled with sound. Not alien, human. We launch into the stars. We carry Earth in our hearts. We will return, one day, to our home. The voices were old, fragile but unmistakably human. The room froze as realization struck. This was a colony ship, the science officer whispered. One of the first, lost centuries ago. Elena felt the words sink deep into her bones. The old legends had always spoken of humanity's first steps into the stars, of brave explorers who vanished into the void. Everyone thought they were gone forever, but they had not vanished. They had changed. They had survived. Somehow they had found alien worlds, alien technology, and merged with it. Over time, they had become something new, something greater. And when Earth was in its darkest hour, they had returned. The revelation more. Fragments from the data core revealed pieces of truth. Logs from long-dead captains spoke of endless battles, of adapting alien tech to survive, of protecting themselves in hostile galaxies, and always, a single promise. We will return when our people need us most. The crew of Guardian 1 stood in silence. Some wept. Others simply stared. Humanity had not been saved by strangers. They had been saved by their own, lost children of Earth, transformed by time and struggle. Across Earth, when the news spread, the world changed. Survivors in ruined cities gathered around cracked screens, listening to the ancient voices. Families in shelters wept as they realized the mysterious ship had not been alien at all. It had been human. Different, yes, but still human. People lit candles, built shrines, and whispered prayers. Across the planet, one name began to form. On every tongue, the returners. That was what they called the lost ones who had come back to save them. A new resolve on Guardian 1. Elena stood before her weary crew. Her voice was steady, though her heart ached. They gave their lives for us, she said. Not as strangers, not as enemies, but as our kin. The returners sacrificed everything so Earth could live. Malik stepped forward, his voice strong. Then we must honor them. We must rebuild. And when the aliens return, we will fight, not alone, but with the legacy they left us. The crew straightened, their exhaustion fading into determination. Humanity had always been fragile, always on the edge of extinction. But now they had proof that survival was possible, even in the darkest places of the universe. The legacy in the stars. Weeks later, more wreckage was brought down from orbit. Among the shards, engineers discovered strange hybrid technology. Circuits fused with alien energy, weapons beyond human science, shields that could withstand suns. The returners had left behind not only hope, but knowledge. Humanity began to rebuild with these gifts, slowly turning despair into strength. Factories retooled, research stations lit up, and for the first time in years, humanity dreamed not just of survival, but of victory. But one mystery remained. The final whisper late. One night, Elena stood alone on the command deck, gazing at the stars. The fragments of the returner ship still drifted in silence, glowing faintly like candles in the dark. Then, her comms console flickered. Static filled the room, and a voice, soft, faint, but clear, echoed across the empty space. "We are with you." Elena's breath caught. She leaned forward, but the signal vanished. Was it a final recording? A leftover transmission from the wreckage? Or something more? She did not know, but she smiled faintly, because whether they lived or not, the returner's spirit remained. Humanity's oath. The people of Earth looked to the sky, scarred but unbroken. They no longer saw only fire and fear. They saw possibility. The returners had shown them that humans could endure anything, that no enemy was invincible, that no darkness was final, and so humanity made a vow. They would fight on. They would rise again. And when the day came, they too would stand in the stars, not as victims, but as warriors. The war was far from over, but Earth was no longer alone, for, in the darkest hour, the returners had kept their promise, and their legacy would burn forever in human hearts. It broke formation, diving straight toward the alien carrier. Its glowing hull lit up like a burning sun, shields flaring under heavy fire. "Captain, it's going to stop them," Malik breathed. The shield, the alien weapon discharged, a colossal beam of green fire streaking toward Earth. But before it could reach the planet, the unknown ship placed itself directly in the line of fire. The entire sky lit up. The impact shook every sensor on Guardian 1. The mysterious ship's shields blazed, straining, cracking, but holding. The beam that should have annihilated millions was stopped cold. On Earth's surface, civilians in bunkers looked to the heavens and saw a glowing shield standing between them and death. For the first time in the war, tears of joy replaced tears of fear. The push with the weapon deflected. Earth's fleet roared back into action. Missiles, torpedoes, and beams of light hammered the alien carrier. The mysterious ship, still smoking from the impact, struck with fury, unleashing blast after blast until the enemy vessel cracked open and exploded in silence. The alien reinforcements faltered. Leaderless, they began to scatter. Human fighters hunted them down, forcing them into retreat. For the second time, humanity had survived. The silence. After victory, when the last alien ship vanished into hyperspace, the battlefield was still. Human vessels drifted in silence, their crews too exhausted even to cheer. The mysterious ship floated back into formation, scarred but still glowing. On Guardian 1, the crew stared at the giant with awe and fear. Malik broke the silence. It saved us. Twice. Elena nodded slowly. Yes. And now it has earned something very dangerous. What's that? Malik asked. Her eyes stayed on the screen. Our trust. The war front was silent, but inside every human heart there was a storm. The mysterious ship had saved Earth twice, yet no one knew what it was, or why it had chosen this moment to appear. In the days that followed the Great Battle, Earth's forces regrouped. Broken cruisers returned to orbit for repairs. Pilots stumbled out of cockpits exhausted but alive. On the ground, families came out of bunkers, staring at the night sky where a strange protector now floated. The unknown ship, the shadow of light, their silent ally. Watching the Watcher, from Guardian 1, Captain Elena Torres studied the massive vessel. It hung in orbit, quiet and still, its glowing lines dim but alive, like veins carrying hidden energy. For hours, it made no move. It did not communicate, it simply watched. Commander Malik frowned at the readings. Captain, it's hovering in a fixed position. It's observing us. Or guarding us, Elena replied. The crew shifted uneasily. None could rest easy with such a giant standing over Earth. An ally was one thing, but a guardian with unknown motives? That was another danger entirely. The wreckage days later, human salvage crews began gathering wreckage from the destroyed alien ships, but mixed among the debris, they found something stranger. Fragments of the mysterious ship. Not much, just shards of broken armor knocked loose during the battles, but they were unlike anything humanity had seen before. The science officer placed the samples on Guardian 1's lab table. The crew gathered as she began her report. Captain, this is impossible, she whispered. Elena's eyes narrowed. Explain. These fragments, they're alien technology, yes, but not just alien. There are traces of human design as well. Old human design. The room went silent. Human? Malik repeated. How? That ship is beyond anything we've ever built. The science officer held up the scans. These circuits match patterns used in Earth's early space colonization days, centuries ago. But they've been fused with alien systems, integrated so perfectly, it's as if the two were born together. The words hit the crew like a shockwave. Ship made of both human and alien technology. Theories and fears rumors spread quickly through the fleet. Some believed it was a secret Earth project, hidden for centuries and revealed only now. Others whispered of time travel, that it was a vessel from the future, humanity's last survivors come back to save their ancestors. And darker rumors grew louder, that it was once a human colony ship, captured by aliens long ago, twisted into something new. In bunkers and starbases, soldiers argued. Civilians prayed. Some called it a miracle, others a curse. But no one knew the truth. Another message. Then, without warning, the speakers aboard Guardian 1 crackled again. The same deep, distorted voice filled the air. We know you. The crew froze. The voice continued. We remember. Then silence. Malik's face paled. Captain, they claim to know us, to remember us. What does that mean? Elena stared at the comm speaker, her fists tightening. If they were telling the truth, then humanity's connection to this ship was older than anyone had imagined. The counterattack. Before they could seek answers, alarms blared once more. Captain, alien fleet incoming. They're larger than before. Reinforcements from deep space. The screen lit up with dozens, No, hundreds of alien ships converging on Earth like a tide of fire. Humanity's fleets were still broken from the last battle. They could not withstand this wave. The mysterious ship stirred. Its glowing lines blazed bright once again, and it moved into position at the front of the defense line. Elena clenched her jaw. "It's ready to fight again." "Captain," Malik said quietly, "if that ship falls, so do we." Battle and revelation. The battle erupted in fire and thunder. Alien warships poured weapons into the mysterious vessel, determined to break it. But this time the ship seemed slower, as if carrying wounds from its last stand. Human cruisers rushed to shield it, but their weapons were weak against the overwhelming tide. One by one they fell. And then, in the middle of the battle, a strange event occurred. The mysterious ship released a burst of light, blinding, brilliant, and for a moment, every human comms channel filled with voices. Not alien voices, human voices, old voices, logs, recordings, fragments of speech from centuries past. "We launch into the stars. We are the children of Earth. We will return home." The voices were ancient, but they were human. The crew of Guardian. One listened in stunned silence. The truth was breaking through. The hidden past. The science officer gasped. "Captain, I've matched the patterns. These recordings. They're from the early colony ships that left Earth hundreds of years ago. Ships that never returned." Elena's heart sank. She remembered the old stories. Lost expeditions into deep space, colonies that disappeared without a trace. History had written them off as failures, but they had not failed. They had become this. The cost of truth as the revelation spread. The mysterious ship fought harder, burning through enemy lines with renewed fury. But its glowing hull cracked under the pressure. Entire sections broke away, drifting in fire, and still it fought on. "Captain," Malik whispered, "if it truly is one of us, then it came home to save us." Elena said nothing. She only watched as the ship tore through the enemy with the strength of both alien and human blood. But she also knew the truth came with a cost. This ship was dying. The battle was not over. The truth had been revealed, but survival was far from certain, and Earth's darkest secret had finally returned. The sky above Earth was fire once more. Alien reinforcements poured into orbit, filling the black with thousands of ships. They came in waves, sharp, fast, merciless. Humanity's battered fleet was collapsing under the pressure, and in the center of the chaos, the mysterious ship fought on. Its glowing lines blazed brighter than ever, lighting the darkness like a dying star. Beams of energy cut through alien cruisers, tearing them apart. Explosions spread across the void, but the cost was clear. The ship was breaking. Wounds of a giant on Guardian 1. Alarms screamed as the crew watched the giant falter. "Captain," shouted the tactical officer. "The unknown ship is taking critical damage. Whole sections of its hull are collapsing." The science officer added, her voice shaking, "Energy readings are unstable. If it continues at this rate, it cannot survive." Captain Elena Torres gripped the railing. Her chest tightened as she stared at the massive vessel. It had saved them again and again, but now it was paying the price. "We need to support it," Commander Malik urged. "If it falls, we all fall." Elena nodded. "Signal all ships, protect it at all costs." But the human fleet was too small, too weak. They could barely shield themselves, let alone their strange ally. The alien weapon, then, the enemy made its move. From deep within the alien armada, their command carrier advanced. It was larger than anything humanity had ever faced. Spikes like black mountains, weapons glowing with deadly green fire. Scanners blared. "Captain, they're charging their super weapon. Target, Earth itself." The bridge went silent. Every officer froze. If that weapon fired, millions would die instantly. Cities would vanish in fire, and there was no defense strong enough to stop it. Except one.